Welcome back to Geek News Now Live, the show where I'm usually wearing sunglasses, and this time is no different. Gotcha. Today, we're talking about WandaVision on the first of what we've already been doing, but we're now calling MCU Mondays. And we're calling them that because for the next year, pretty much, the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, is putting out something every Friday. And we want to give people enough time to watch it. So that gives you the weekend. We talk about it on Monday. Right now, we're doing WandaVision, as you could tell. But coming up, we'll be doing Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Loki and whatever else they've got, coming up. And I've got a wonderful panel with me, as always. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, starting with, oh my goodness, special guest tonight. It's the founder of Geek News Now is here with us tonight.
Yeah, so that automatically means that your panel now sucks. And I mean, if you're just gonna let anybody in here, I mean, geez, God,
yeah, you're right. Lowering the bar to let you in.
Well, considering how short I am, the bar is pretty low. So, hold on, let me get a little lower. There we go. No, I'm glad to be here. I've seen, of course, naturally, I keep tabs on the live stream from time to time, and people talk to me about the live streams. They mostly talk about Debbie on the live streams. So hoping she brings her A game tonight, man. This ought to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this one.
No pressure.
Thanks a lot.
Everybody else introduce yourselves while I check with an error on Facebook.
Yeah, fail book. Sorry about that.
Is that not?
Let me know if it becomes a thing.
Well, we just might not be there tonight, but we'll definitely be on YouTube. So anyway, Debbie, introduce yourself while I look more into this.
I'm with the social media team. We are responsible for all the memes and getting the content out for the YouTube channels, the podcasts, our writers. You can find us on Facebook, except for not today, on Twitter and on Instagram. And of course, we have our main website, geeknewsnow.net. So come over and check it out, and you'll find something you like. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, it just looks like we're not going to be on Facebook possibly today, unless we are. So who knows? We'll be there in the future, and we're there in the past.
Wait a minute, hold on. I want to make sure that I get this correct. So we're going to be Facebook unless we're not, is what I heard, or we're not going to be on Facebook unless we are.
Great Scott.
That's pretty scientific.
The correct answer there is yes.
The level of oratory. Yeah, I'm going to have to rise to the occasion on this one.
Yes, absolutely.
Devin's also here with us today. What's up, Devin?
Sup? Hey guys, I am Devin with the Literary Legion, one of the article writers for Geek News Now and author of the weekly article Dungeon Crawl about Dungeons and Dragons. And super happy to be here and see you guys again this week, and it's going to be fun.
It absolutely is. I'm very excited to talk about it. Last but not least, David.
Hello, folks. I'm David. I'm the head of the Literary Legion. I run the crew that writes all the lovely articles that you see over on geeknewsnow.net. Head over there, read any one of our articles. We've got an amazing crew. They put out quality stuff every week, if not, and several times a week. Keep up with your news. Go to geeknewsnow.net.
100%. And if you want to be involved in the contest that we just started, the link is in the description. Wherever you happen to be watching this, the link is there. Get involved with the contest now, and get involved with the GNN Greats on Facebook. Whenever Facebook is working again, for whatever reasons it's not right now.
Until it is.
Technology is wonderful when it works. That's like what all those robot apocalypse movies are about. It's like Ultron. Idea on paper, great idea. In practice, it didn't work out so good. So.
Well,
Facebook is Ultron. That's what I'm trying. So now, with that segue, WandaVision, the latest episode, tons of stuff happening.
Ooh. Wow.
Tons of reveals in this episode, or pseudo reveals, or questions answered but unanswered. Debbie, what was your biggest reveal? Do you think? What do you think was the biggest?
Well, it wasn't a big reveal because.
Or your favorite?
We knew Agnes was Agatha, but I'm telling you, that damn theme song, that was just so awesome.
Behind it all.
And Catherine Hahn actually sings that. So
yes, I was going to mention that if you didn't.
Yeah. And, it was the Munsters theme or, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, that was probably my most favorite part of the whole thing. It was an obvious reveal, but it was an awesome reveal.
Absolutely. Devin, what about you? What's your just favorite? Because there are a bunch of different moments.
We've thrown out in the last 5 weeks I've been with you guys. We've thrown out so many theories and ideas, and so many have now been confirmed in one form or another. We know that I think number one, the theme song at the end showed us that Quicksilver, I think, is the MCU Quicksilver that she has pulled. She's controlling him, but that she didn't create him, because she was controlling him the same way everything else. So that kind of thing, she's in control of that Quicksilver, manipulating that Quicksilver, I think it was one. And the other, I was happy to see the showdown, the way it was done between Wanda and Monica. Once Monica goes back in and she does the superhero landing.
Superhero landing.
It was superhero landing. She's gonna do it. She's gonna do it.
She did it.
I think that was a really well shot moment. And I think it was well done. And I was happy to see both those things. But yeah, and also to get the confirmation of Agatha.
I also think within the context of this show and how it is at many times meta, as in it's aware of the sitcom or it's playing to a lot of different tropes. I think having that superhero landing being that time where she actually confronts Wanda and for the first time is actually I am possibly someone who could stand up to you or be a threat to you or something actual. Maybe this time you couldn't just end me if it came down to a fight. It kind of sets something like that up, and she does the superhero landing. It's
and on top of that, just to add insult to injury, I think Wanda realized that too, because she hit her. And am I missing something? Everybody's laughing.
It's in the comments, David.
Oh, I don't have my comments up. How's that? But she did the superhero landing, and even Wanda kind of took a step back and said, "Oh, this is somebody I can deal with."
Yeah.
And Bender said this episode was so powerful it blew his mustache off. That's what we were laughing at. Devin has been sporting a beautiful mustache.
Yes, I'm missing. So don't get me. I don't want to tell that story again. It's gone. It's gone. Shut up, baby. I know it.
Responding in Bender fashion to that.
Oh,
Hey there, Wanda. Want to kill all humans?
Oh man,
Dave, did you have a favorite reveal or favorite part of the episode?
Well, I thought the showdown between Wanda and Monica, I really liked that. I liked that Monica went ahead, and even though everybody was saying, "Oh, don't go through, you've already been phased through too many times and it's going to mess you up," I thought it was great. I thought that Vision catching up with Darcy, and Darcy kind of filling him in on, okay, here's what's happened. It's like an exposition dump. It's like, okay, you may not remember, but here's what's been going on that you don't know of. So catching him up,
having him actually be able to talk to someone from the outside,
right? The Agatha reveal. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, and I'm still gonna question that reveal, because if you remember back the last week's episode, or last week, the last episode, the one prior to this, she was sitting at the edge of the hex. She was in her car and she was panicked and she was worried, and Vision tapped her out of her thing and she was like, "Oh, you're an Avenger, you're here to save us." And then he tapped her back in and she was all back to normal. As far as the Agatha thing goes, sure, I'll believe it's her, but I still think that even she is being moved and manipulated by somebody else.
Yeah,
and she's now revealing herself and her true intentions.
I truly don't think she's the big bad. I think, I mean,
we can get into that in just a minute.
Okay.
Before we do,
did I jump the gun? I'm sorry.
We're gonna get no. I just before anyone else went. First of all, I wanted to say to what you're saying. There was that moment in her little theme song where she like looked to the camera and was like, "Haha, I'm faking all of this." So like that whole being in distress thing was kind of her, but that also doesn't disprove your theory of there's someone else at work. It doesn't at all. I was gonna say, did you down there, the big man, Dave? Did you have a favorite moment, reveal, part of this episode? Like, what are you feeling right now?
Well, first of all, my wife actually provided the best reveal, but before I get into that, since this is my first time here and everybody else is shut up so that I can actually speak now, can I take a moment here to comment on how this background like captures the best facial expressions? Because Wanda over here, look at that face. Look at she's got like that, and then you've got Agnes up there with all you see are like the eyes and the eyebrows, but that's like all you need. And then you can really barely see Kat Dennings at all, which is perfect. So, I mean, wow, that just really nailed it.
I take your praise and I receive that, and I hold it dear and close to my heart. I'm serious. I'm not kidding. Thank you.
The best reveal I got was, so my wife and I are watching this, and so Kat Dennings is the escape artist, right? And she's walking away with Vision, and as they're getting into the truck, my wife notices they did a really good job of covering up those ginormous boobs. And I kind of caught my head sideways. I'm like, yeah, they did. Yeah, good job, sweetheart. Thank you. I'm glad you were looking first and not me. So that was terrific.
His favorite part of the episode was the thickness of Kat Dennings and their concealing of it.
And they did do a masterful job. Okay, so hats off to Marvel.
They made me pay attention to the story as opposed to just her, which is a rare thing.
It's
the opposite of Thor.
The big reveal for me was there was a real House of Cards moment. Everybody remembers House of Cards, Kevin Spacey and Princess Buttercup and politics in Washington. But when Agatha is holding the dog and she says, "Oh, by the way, I broke up Daft Punk too." No, I'm sorry. She said, I wrote The Last Jet. No, I killed Sparky. And I had a real flashback to House of Cards when in the the beginning of the pilot episode, Kevin Spacey kills the dog to put it out of its misery. And that shows his true character and his true nature. Now, again, we have someone that has flat out killed a dog for a raw because the lulz. I mean, why would you kill a dog like that? And so I kind of drew that comparison. I'm like, this is a lot about her character, not so much the manipulation of Wanda and Vision and the events in the town. She didn't have to kill that dog, and she could have given it back to the kids. Like, I say, Sparky, here are the kids. She flat out killed the dog, dude. I mean, like, wow. So that was my big reveal.
And that, I think, kind of shows, oh my gosh, like that's a lot of people are thinking that the dog is actually representative, or the bunny is of possibly her child that she lost, because there's a lot of different, and that's why I was going to say we're going to get into that in a minute. And now let's get into it. Agatha.
She's behind it all.
Is she, though?
Is she?
What about the fly? Cicada, for those of us who are about to experience another cicada deluge. I'm about to have every 17 years, boom, cicada, here they come. So that's a cicada. Everyone's like, what kind of bug? That's a fly. I'm like, no, that's a cicada.
Yep.
Anyway, it's probably a demon, just like the stork.
Yeah, if you're down south, you know what a cicada is. I mean, there's no question about that one.
That's like that's typical nightly music in the summertime. Well, actually, anytime between March and November.
But that's like thousands of them, and then you this is just like one. It's kind of odd just to see one there, and a stork, and in her house. So, what do you think the losing control was about?
I think if Wanda really is, if she's being, let's assume she's being coached by Agatha, that Agatha's just taking advantage of the situation, that Wanda is still behind most of the events going on. She captured Westview. She is holding the people hostage. She's still doing all this. She can't do it forever. And the fact that she's jumping through these sitcoms, she has to deal with a new situation every time. Vision is off doing something. She's got to worry about Monica. Monica was just here, and I kicked her out, and that's stressful. And the kids are stressing me out because now they're not babies. You got to worry about them getting their independence, and it's too much. And so she takes a day off, is what she calls it, right? A day for herself. They do the whole breaking the fourth wall thing, but she can't take a day off because she's literally holding this world together. So her taking a day off, when things start to revert and just go absolutely crazy.
Well, and I think a lot of it has to do, honestly, if you go back and start with episode 1, she has been losing control this entire time. Eventually she lost control to where she can't, she missed the whole thing with Agatha where she said, do you want me to go back and start over again? She couldn't rewind Vision, and now it's to the point of everything's kind of reverting. I looked at it and said, okay, well, the milk went from the carton of milk to the 1950s bottle of milk. So it's reverting back to the 50s TV show. And then the TV turned into the tube TV, and then the old tube TV. And it was like, okay, so things are just, she's losing her reality that she wants to have. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that she's lost Vision at this point. She probably doesn't know where Vision is. She kicked, he tried to escape, and this episode she was just like, well, if he wants to leave, he can leave.
That's definitely a part of it. Like the fact that he's not in the house, that's part of the dynamic of the show now. And it's interesting into just how much that fits in with the tropes that these shows are trying to go with, because in the 50s or the 60s, you're not going to have like a single parent show. You're not going to have like someone struggling with divorce, because that's not the ideal that they're trying to set up for people in these shows. You're going to have like back in the day, Leave It to Beaver, or like, at the end of the day, everything's going to be great and happy neighborhood. But as you get more into the current day, we do have more the dysfunctional family, which is kind of what this becomes. And like you were saying, the reality breaks down because part of the reality, like the perfect world, that's like what the thing was. It's like she was creating the perfect world, and now she's trying to take a day off from it, and then it starts buzzing out. It's like you're not concentrating on what your perfect world is. You're not making it happen. So it's not you can't take a day off from this because you're the one manifesting it.
So I'm gonna get deep for a second.
Get out of here!
Yeah,
we don't allow that. No, just go.
So, and I'm going somewhere with this. I heard grief explained recently, and I think other people probably heard this. Went around social media for a bit. Grief is best explained as you have a box that has a button, and that button, every time that button gets hit, it's the grief. Okay, and when you first experience pain, loss, grief, whatever, you have this box with a button in it, and you have this big bowling ball that just barely fits inside the box, and it's constantly hitting that button. You're constantly feeling the grief. You're constantly feeling the pain. Over time, the ball gets smaller. It's still bouncing around in that box, and it doesn't hit the button as often. But when it does, you feel that grief just as strong as you did day one. For Wanda, this is all a matter of weeks to her. She didn't get 5 years to grieve. She loses her brother. A few years later, she loses Vision. She has to kill him, then sees him die. Then she loses Tony, who tried to protect her and was an advocate for her safety for a long time, going back to Civil War, just before the events of Infinity War. And so she sees all of this happen. And from her point of view, 5 years didn't pass. It's all been weeks. So she's dealing with this, and we're seeing that, she's trying to cope in all these different ways. And then tonight we see everything going back to square one. It goes back to the 50s. It goes back to she is unable, we see the house at one point go through different stages of being rebuilt. And at one point it's just framework as it's going through. She cannot hold on to reality because she's finally being forced to, I think, deal with the situation. It's becoming real now. And I don't think Agatha has an evil end game. I think Agatha is holding her together.
I'm gonna. Okay. Dave, you go. Go ahead.
Pick me up. Pick me up. Okay. I'm gonna throw this out there. Okay, it's just spitballing. Let's turn this around on itself. Why would it revert back to the 50s? The 50s era is when Wanda felt the safest and the most secure. It was just her and Vision. No kids. She had the wacky next door neighbor, but that was it. She had her time with her man with no dangers around except for the occasional plate that flew into his head.
It doesn't just go back to there. It switches between all the different time periods and all the different stuff.
Right, but it does. But the 50s are the ones that's the most prevalent. I mean, we're the one, we've watched it all, and that's the one that hit us the hardest. So why would it go back to that? Because Wanda's subconscious is taking her back to where it is safe for her. The modern age with kids that are, remember the Halloween, when they did the whole Halloween trick-or-treating thing, her brother that she even was suspicious of was taking the kids away. And when you're a parent and your kids are out of your sight, you get nervous. Everything in the modern time gets more complicated and more stressful. So what if Wanda's subconscious is rejecting the modern times and trying to drag her back to the 50s where it's nice and safe?
Well, that brings up a couple different points. Like, for instance, why the sitcom stuff in the first place? Why this progression of different things? Does Wanda, for some reason, think that 50 sitcoms is perfection? I doubt it. I think that she's trying to create a perfect world, and she's doing that based off of the things maybe that she's seen in television, but that's not even a perfect. That's not even a calm down. That's not even a perfect. That's not even a perfect explanation for all this. And also, when Devin was talking about Agatha and how she might, what is she doing? Here's the thing: it doesn't look like Agatha created this hex. It doesn't look like she's behind it. Even her entire song says she's the one who's been messing it up all along. So if she's the one who's been messing it up all along, then who's the one who started it in the first place? And what's the ideal function of this hex? We have no answers on that. Debbie.
Well, as I started to say earlier,
before she was so rudely interrupted.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you hate it when you get interrupted?
It's terrible. Awful.
It's the worst thing imaginable.
You must have to start muting people for the first time ever.
I don't think Agatha is the main big bad. I really don't. There's Mephisto or Nightmare, whoever, they're going to be the big bad. And whether or not we get a reveal this season or if it's going to just leave us at a cliffhanger until Doctor Strange 2, who knows? But I don't think she's the big bad.
You think the next 2 episodes possibly could reveal actually who's behind the behind?
Or at least give us some kind of confirmation without doing an actual reveal. But
there's also that book,
Darkhold. Are we in agree that's Darkhold, a version of Darkhold?
The Necronomicon, which is also Marvel canon with her. So it's one or the other. Or it's Shima Gorath. Who knows?
We should so put on a Necronomicon. That would be awesome. I'd love to see that in action. Can we have it? They're like all zombies all the time. That'd be so cool.
They have that. It's called Walker Fest, and it's usually a
Oh, yeah.
travesty, but that's a whole other story.
Now we have I think it's
Shut up and take my money.
it's pretty clear that Palpatine put the idea in a Newt Gunray's head to hire a bounty hunter, to hire another bounty hunter, to get a droid to put bugs into Wanda's room so that then Agatha could then go to Mephisto. Wait, stop. Wait, hold on. No, Darth Jar. No, wait, damn it. Wait.
Disney owns it, so it's all plausible.
No. The Disney, Star Wars, Marvel relationship has not become that incestuous yet. So
Wait, okay, then the genie, gets rubbed out of the lamp by Aladdin, and then he goes over to the Little Mermaid, and the Little Mermaid wishes for. Wait, no, God.
Dave, did you have a point to that related to the show? Because what we usually do is at some point we talk about what happened in the show.
No, nobody wants to hear that. No. I'm waiting for Mephisto. Mephisto's going to be not just the cliffhanger, but I think that Mephisto will have a very small part in WandaVision overall. They're going to set him up as the next big bad for the Avengers to fight. I think at some point he's going to play a part in the next big Avengers movie.
That's not unfeasible. We saw snippets of Thanos for years in credits without even ever saying his name. We just saw imagery of Thanos, a sentence of his words. So that's feasible, because I'm thinking there's 2 episodes left, and it's either going to be really brilliant screenwriting, that they introduce him as a cliffhanger, and I just really hope they don't completely mess up their flow and rhythm and try to cram something in these last 2 hours that we have left of WandaVision, or rather the last half hour and then hour and a half of credits of WandaVision. And it's there's so much, and is this just gonna go into is this going to flow into Falcon and Winter Soldier? That's, where's the tie-in? Or is it going to be like the other Marvel movies where they have seemingly nothing to do with each other, but there's an after-credits scene that starts tying, Nick Fury starts showing up, in after-credits scenes.
This one did have our first after-credits.
I was going to say.
Yep. There we go.
Yeah. The mini-series. And also it's not, like the one that's mentioned in the comments. And it's also not a movie. So, is it going to are they going to tie together in a more loose way than even the movies did, or how is everything in the MCU going to be tying together?
Let me jump in real quick, Chris. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Your show, man,
go for it.
Badass. But I got to get this question in. It's been burning me up all night. How much would you flip out on a scale of 1 through 10 if it turns out that Keanu Reeves is Mephisto? If that's the big reveal.
So I was hoping for Keanu Reeves to be, oh God, I can't remember his name. No, the guy in the Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
No.
But seriously,
Chris. No.
See, here's the thing. Okay, if it's just that cameo, just that reveal at the end, Keanu could show up on the set. He's there for one day and he's out. It would barely be a blip on anyone's radar, because he's not there doing it, these 3-4 weeks worth of takes and reshoots and all that. He could show up, be like Thanos. He just kind of turns around and smiles, does a little nod, and then that's it. And then the entire world, as we know it, flips right out. How badly would y'all flip out if that was the end of the first season?
I just want him to come out and just say, "You're breathtaking," and that's how it goes to credits.
He played John Constantine, so sure, why not?
John Constantine.
Just so long as there's no surfer lingo in there. I got you now, Wanda.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Hey, Wanda, what number am I thinking of right now?
69, dude.
Okay, all right, we'll let Chris take it back. The more I think about it, the more it could actually happen, and I would flip out.
I know they've been courting him. There have been rumors about Keanu Reeves out there for years. And I'm pretty sure everyone would love to see him in a role. I'm pretty sure it's up to him at this point. So
Yeah.
I think at this point we'll see him when we see him, and we're just going to be overjoyed however and whenever we see him is my guess on the Keanu Reeves front.
Well, Bender Rodriguez there in the comments brings up a valid question. Is that Peter? Is that Pietro? Is that Mephisto? I mean, we don't, he's still kind of the big unanswered question because we haven't gotten any resolution to him.
We saw in Agatha's little song that she was the one controlling him, but that doesn't necessarily mean that she's the one that brought him there, or maybe like he arrived to actually, who knows, to help or something, and then she took control. What do you think on that? What do you think on that, Devin? Because you said, didn't you say earlier, you think it actually is the Quicksilver from X-Men, right?
I think it is him. And I've got a theory that I read today that's interesting if true. And then I've got this one, which is I think it is him. And Agatha Harkness certainly would be powerful enough. If she's powerful enough to hold Wanda or enhance Wanda through all of this to cause all these things happen, she's certainly, I mean, she's centuries old by the comic standard. You know, she survived Salem. She's certainly powerful enough to pull somebody from one universe and into another.
By the comics, though, just to be clear, tons of everything is possible.
Yes.
You could say just like, well, you know, this character, you could say like, well, you know, by the comic standard, Iron Man killed gods way bigger than Thanos and all. He had the God Killer armor and everything. So like, yes, we might be dealing with possibly a different version of Agatha, or like the MCU Agatha.
The other theory I read today, and this may open a whole nother can of worms, and I'm sorry if it does, or maybe I'm not sorry. The other thing I read today,
no problem.
What if the radiation set off from the snap creates the mutants, and that's how they introduce them into the MCU?
Well, I've been saying that that would be a great way to introduce that kind of thing.
Because everybody that has like super powers comes from a source, and a lot of them are getting their power from mutant level powers, and characters that would otherwise be mutants are from Infinity Stones.
There's a bigger thing within this episode though that has more power than like necessarily the Infinity Stones, or as much as, and so that's the Nexus.
Yeah,
Nexus beings, the Nexus pills that Wanda takes, and this is the first time that we see one of the commercials actually directly cross over into what she's doing, because this is the first time we have a commercial that's also about depression and about, hey, reality's not all that, or maybe it is. Like,
you can make it whatever you want to make it.
And make it whatever you want, and that's partially the idea behind the Nexus in the comics. Again, like they draw a lot of stuff from the comics. Makes sense. That's what it's based off of. But this is the movie version or the cinematic version. The Nexus is kind of like there's a Nexus beings who can control time and reality.
Yep.
Wanda is one of them. Vision is also one of them. So that we talked last episode a little bit about Shangri-La. Or if I had found, Paradise, which is Vision's secret city or like version of heaven or whatever, because he is able to manipulate this as well. So we don't know where this is going to end up. And the fact that they're bringing in the Nexus and playing that heavily into it, and the fact that the multiverse of madness is on the horizon, I mean...
Well, I have a little tidbit for you that, Chris, especially for you. The Nexus beings are watched over by the Time Variance Authority. And...
TVA.
Yes. And guess who one of those members are or is?
Lay it out.
Wade Wilson.
What?
And here's something else. Hey, Debbie, I don't know if you saw this, but the jumpsuit that Loki is wearing in his prison uniform in the Loki trailer says TVA.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
I'm
So-
gonna have to rewatch
so
it.
he
I'm trying to
has the
say I gotta
time
go back and
zone,
rewatch the trailer now.
Yeah, I was
Hopefully
like,
it's a
wait,
Spade
put
show,
that
brother.
on. Yeah, I was like, oh, you got a tidbit for me. I got a bit
Oh.
tid for you.
A bit of yeah.
Yeah. That's
I'm
all.
telling you,
No, it's not.
there should be an after credits scene of just Deadpool just walking through Westview. That's it. Like an after credits scene, and you're just walking through. And
Okay, I got it.
What I would love,
No, I'm gonna look it up.
I want the end credits of the season 1 finale. I want it to be the same. Okay, you know, it's kind of that weird looking TV graphics and all that, but I want the music to be
the best X-Men theme song.
like one
Okay,
of the greatest theme songs ever.
You're asking. You were like, what would Westview be if it was Deadpool? Well, this is if it was Ryan Reynolds. You know.
Oh God. Yeah. That'd be fun.
I wouldn't mind.
Me neither.
Wow, wow, chicka wow, wow, chicka wow, wow.
That's right.
He was named the sexiest man alive once, wasn't he?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she immediately know. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The part of her room that we can't see has like pictures of him all over that magazine spread and everything.
I have loved Ryan Reynolds since Two Men, a Girl in a Pizza Place or whatever.
Van Wilder, sure, same as me.
When he first did his James T. Kirk impression. That was it.
So when are you going to let him out? You've got him tied up back there, I assume, right? Yeah, just off camera.
Well, you know, that's my little secret. So.
Ooh.
We know he's not in the show because he's tied up in her closet. That's
Sorry.
Anyway, a Deadpool crossover would be grand. Actually, the license plate of I think the. Speaking of, people were talking about who could do the Stan Lee cameos now that Stan Lee is unfortunately dead. Who's flipping something right now?
Oh, that's me. Sorry.
Okay. Very audible.
You got me all
I
bothered.
thought we were professional here. My God.
She's dealing blackjack. She's double dipping.
The license
No,
plate.
actually, those are her fingers running across Ryan Reynolds' washboard abs.
Oh.
Ooh, getting a little hot in here.
this show took a turn.
Okay, so you're talking about the license plates.
So that license plate was
Yes.
Stan Lee's birthday. That's
Birthday, yes.
Well, actually, license plates are legitimately important.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
it's a crazy time to drop out.
Dun, dun,
Oh,
dun.
no.
Oh, now we'll never know why license plates are important. We'll never know.
No, he said legitimately important.
There we are.
You bet.
Okay, so license plates. Yeah, I lost you guys too. I don't know what happened. So license plates are actually legitimately episode because in the last episode and in this episode, the vehicles Agatha drives have Connecticut license plates.
Yes.
Not New Jersey.
Not New Jersey. Mm.
Yeah, somebody pointed that out and so they wondered if, because we know that in the comics, Agatha was from Salem, that, they're making a New England reference to her, but also why her vehicle has Connecticut license plates when she's supposedly from there. That was something somebody pointed. Hey, notice this.
Where was Charles's School for the Gifted? That was Westchester, New York, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So there goes that theory.
Close enough.
Okay.
Connecticut.
Connecticut, New York, it's all the same when you get up
New
there.
Jersey, New York.
It's New England, and that's all I know because I'm from Indiana and live in Florida. It's just New England.
So says the Texan. You drive 5 hours in one direction in New England, you cross like 86 states. In Texas, you drive 5 hours and you've crossed like 3 counties.
Yeah.
It takes me 8 hours to get from my house in Florida to Atlanta, Georgia. So yes, I get it.
8 hours won't even get you across the state.
No. The Nexus.
Nexus, yes. And it's the first reference we have now to the multiverse.
I think we're all going to be taking some of this after my appearance here. I wouldn't blame you at all for taking some of that.
Nexus, when you need to forget what you just did. Nexus.
So, as far as there was a lot of stuff that we really liked, obviously, in this episode. One of the things I didn't like as much was the reveal or non-reveal as far as that aerospace technician or whatever.
Yeah, where was he? I thought we were going to see him at the camp.
Nah, that's a good point. A lot of people were like, that chick, who is that chick that showed up? I thought they were saying he. So it's possible that the reveal, this was a fake reveal or fake out or a non-reveal. We were expecting it to happen here, but it didn't happen here. But frankly, if that army chick or the lady in fatigues that gave them this vehicle, she can't be the guy because they specifically said he, and I don't.
Maybe
we just
maybe he
ahead,
designed it and they just delivered it, and
Yeah.
we still haven't. We that hasn't been revealed as far as who that is yet.
Because I've heard the theory that it's not. A lot of people want it to be Reed Richards and John Krasinski, Reed Richards specifically, which I would actually be perfectly okay after seeing him in Jack Reacher's TV series. I'd be perfectly okay with him as Reed Richards. However, a lot of people have said that it's going to be Blue Marvel, because Blue Marvel and Monica Rambeau in the comics had a relationship. I'm less inclined to go that way because you're introducing a lot, again, from a writing standpoint, you're introducing a lot of characters that your common audience has no frame of reference for. So I don't know how I'd feel about introducing just one more person with 2 episodes left to go that's suddenly this other superpowered genius.
It's more likely to be Reed Richards because they are going to go with the Fantastic Four eventually. And
Yeah.
Kevin Feige likes to keep the universe as small as he needs to.
Yeah.
He's not going to be throwing out, a metric ton of characters that we're going to forget about by next season. Everything is very small, very contained, and it's his own little snow globe. And when he shakes up the snow globe doesn't get any bigger. There's just some more action going on in there. So I think he wants to tie everything together into what's coming our way. So, Reed Richards is more likely. Multiverse of Madness is more likely. That way, we feel smarter as an audience when we sit and we watch Doctor Strange 2 and we go, I get that connection now. I'm smart because Kevin Feige made me smart. And so that's the way they're gonna keep things nice and contained.
Now, as far as that reveal goes, I mean, if it is Reed Richards, it honestly it wouldn't hurt my feelings at all if it was just a very small reveal like Thanos was in the first Avengers movie, where there he is, and you see him, and it's like, oh, now we know Fantastic Four. We know it's coming. We know he's there.
You see this rubberized hand flip a switch and then retract back, and
shoot, he could just show up in a lab coat with the silver on his hair, and you're like, and they call him Reed, and you're like,
how cool would it be if Reed Richards was played by Keanu Reeves?
What with the multiverse of madness, anything's really
why is Kim Jong-un in that picture?
because it's the different characters that.
Wait, we have the North Korean dictator?
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute.
The Office reference.
This is the best meme ever because when Monica is passing through this, she has different realities or visions of her that all coalesce into one. And so this is a meme.
Dictator?
This is a meme that somebody made. Will you listen? This is a meme that somebody made. That's got all of the guy that plays that character. He played Yes, a North Korean dictator in that movie with what's his face?
Seth Rogen.
The interview.
The interview. Yeah, Seth Rogen. So he played there was an episode of The Office where the one guy's character always pranks the other guy.
Jim.
Yeah.
So
Yep,
and then so it's a huge crossover.
Oh.
This is what happens when you open the multiverse can.
The internet.
Everywhere, yes. No, now the internet is validated. That's the problem.
I googled WandaVision, and that was the first thing that came up.
Okay, hold on. I'll put up at my browser right. Okay, Google.
That's not anymore.
Vision. WandaVision. I'm going to images, and the first thing that shows up is not that.
Not anymore.
It's based on your search history. What we know is that he's looking at a lot of pictures of John Krasinski.
You gotta be quicker than that. No, that was like at 3:03. I'd already watched the entire episode at hyperspeed.
Why is Keanu Reeves showing up all over my search history? What is that? Oh.
You keep saying it into your microphone, and
See, now I'm going to get Google ads and Facebook ads about nothing but Keanu Reeves because they're listening.
algorithms.
Whoa.
So I have a theory.
I'd like to hear it.
Yes,
I'm glad. Okay, so Hayward.
Ugh. Go on. But I think we all share that opinion of him. Go on.
Okay, before you go any further, how did he survive? How did he outrun that? I was so ready for him to be in the. He
has yellow-bellied villain powers. He's a guy we don't like we don't want to survive. So naturally, he does.
I wouldn't have minded him surviving if he had been in the hex. If he would have been caught in the hex and been turned into like a banana slug or something, I would have been okay.
See, exactly, and that's why it couldn't happen. Because you'd be okay with it. That's not compelling. Yep. He has to get away. That itches at you. It's like, I want to see this guy get his comeuppance.
Who gets him? Humperdinck? Who gets Humperdinck? Is that gonna go? Who?
Wait, he wins? Jesus, what are we watching this show for?
Go ahead, Debbie. I'm sorry.
That's all right. My theory, or possible theory, Hayward is so obsessed with Vision. Is it possible that he is Ultron in human form?
Or that he wants Ultron, or that he wants Vision. I think that's all, yes, in some form. I don't think he is Ultron, but I think he possibly is trying to revive Ultron. Hence, we talked about it, I think, last episode, but Project Cataract, which is something that Darcy figured out just before she herself got taken by the Hex. And Cataract obviously is something that blocks Vision. We talked about that. So is that Ultron? Is that Marvel zombies? We've seen hints at zombies throughout this, and even slightly before in like the past Spider-Man movie, we saw like a zombie Iron Man. So we've got I know we've got Armor Wars coming up. We could also have some Secret Wars and Zombie Wars.
What if?
I think in the first Spider-Man movie, and this has been not brought up here, but I've seen theories on this. In the first Spider-Man movie, you had Michael Keaton's character running around picking up stuff from the Avengers battles and stuff. Somebody said, and I haven't gone back to watch, but somebody said that in one of his hauls, he had picked up an Ultron head. That there was an Ultron head somewhere there. Now, that being said, if there's an Ultron head, then there's a CPU within there that is going to be Ultron. Absolutely, I believe it completely could still be around.
All right, so
I'm going to call my shot on this one, and knowing that Kevin Feige has said repeatedly that Phase 4 and beyond will be more space related and less Earth related. I'm going to say that Hayward's a Kree, and that he wants Vision, a revived Vision, to help in some type of diabolical outer space Kree related thing.
So looking for the scrolls still?
Wait, which one of the shapeshifters? The scrolls or the shapeshifters?
The scrolls are the shapeshifters.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. All right, he's a scroll. Sorry, not a Kree. He's a scroll who wants Vision to aid him in the war
Against the Kree.
Against the Kree. I'm calling my shot. I'm going to say he's a scroll.
But
So
when
it's
you
this-
say have Vision aid him against the Kree, I'm not saying that he's not a scroll or anything like that. When you say he wants Vision to aid him against the Kree, would you be willing to say more that he wants the power that Vision has to aid him against the Kree?
He wants the power. He wants to
Not necessarily Vision himself.
rewire Vision somehow or
He
whatever.
wants-
But I'm saying he wants to use Vision, and that's why he's in human form, obviously. So the real Hayward is who knows where. That guy's a scroll.
And what is the actual title of sword? Sentient weapon?
Observation,
And
recovery.
it's supposed to be observation. They talked about it earlier on with the first episode. Monica was in with we're supposed to be monitoring this stuff, not making it. And he goes, well, he basically says, got to fight fire with fire, like the world's in the same. So he's heavily into this stuff. Devin.
So I see your scroll theory, and I raise you one other, that he is, just to play devil's advocate here, he is Ultron in human form, and he's trying to use Vision's technology to create the Sentinels.
Ooh.
Okay. Okay.
Then you introduce your mutants.
I'll raise you again. He is Ultron in human form that is a shape-shifting scroll that is actually Palpatine. There you go.
Do it.
Palpatine's behind it all.
Do it. Do it.
Palpatine's behind it all.
About aspect ratio yet?
We haven't. Ooh. Well, I was waiting because I wanted to, make sure we talked about the popular and, normal things.
You want to wait till Dave shuts
got-
up. Stuff,
I think we
Before
went
got to
way
the
off.
crazy stuff. Well, it's impossible to wait for that.
The molecular structure of both Einstein and the car are completely intact.
Where the hell are they?
The appropriate question is, when the hell are they?
I think time travel is the answer.
Wait a minute, so Palpatine can time travel?
It's not always Palpatine. In fact, the last time it shouldn't have been either. So frankly, talking about WandaVision, aspect ratio. Pay attention. In the latest episode of WandaVision, the aspect ratio has changed yet again. If you don't know what aspect ratio is, look it up, but it's basically how your screen appears, what dimensions it appears in, and that has changed over time as technology has changed over time. And so as they've gone through the different time periods, we've seen it change from letterbox to different widescreen. Every time we get outside of the hex, though, it goes from being whatever time period we're in to a cinematic view, which is like a 16:1 aspect ratio, which means there's a black bar at the top and the bottom of the screen. When Monica breaks through this time into the hex, when she runs through, I'll show it again, you'll see that it changes after she's already through at this point, but when she runs deeper in, that's when the aspect ratio changes. And so this is now something that's gone from something to tell us simply when we're in one place or another to something that's actively changing while you're watching the show. And that happens a lot actually during the end when Agatha and Wanda's in Agatha's house and she asks, where are the kids? And actually, if you've read the comics, there's a lot about this in the comics as well. Basically in the comics, when Agatha confronts Wanda about the kids, she says, whenever you're not concentrating on the kids, they disappear. I don't know how that's going to play into the show, if at all, but in this episode, she was trying to take her mind off the kids and now they're gone. So I guess it does play a part.
Oh,
Anyway,
yeah.
when she goes downstairs, down into that dungeon, and specifically when she goes from the basement into that dungeon room, the aspect ratio changes again from the widescreen, the full screen widescreen that we've had this entire episode, because that's like Modern Family, modern shows today are entirely full screen. It changes during that back into the MCU or the cinematic. So when she's in that basement, that's somehow out of the hex, or I don't know exactly how that works. But then again, when her song starts, Agatha's song, watch the aspect ratio and how vastly it changes just during this little clip. And that's literally them going from the MCU to then the letterbox to show. And also, this is another thing. Forget about the aspect ratio, but look, this is her introduction into the... She kind of comes flying in. Again, she's the one who's saying, I've been messing things up all along. I'm the one who's been messing things up. Hence why I'm pretty sure, like, there's still, again, more players involved in this whole thing, and that's why she takes control of Wanda's mind at the end of this. But anyway, your thoughts, Debbie, on all that?
I totally agree. No argument from me. I agree with everything you just said.
Any thoughts on it specifically as far as like the kids are concerned, or?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the kids. And I don't know if it could be true that, you know, when she's not concentrating, the kids aren't around. Excuse me. But yeah, where are they? Devin.
I'll let you finish, but I haven't
see it.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Take it away.
I think it's absolutely true when she's not concentrating on the kids who are not around, because it wasn't until it was pointed out that the children weren't around that we did see them in the Halloween episode when she's active, when they're actively out and about. I had mentioned before we started the podcast, because I have small children, I pretty much watch TV exclusively with subtitles on, because otherwise I have no idea what's happening.
Real fast, just so you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't just talking about the children in general, but also specifically her children.
Yep, this is where that's going. So at the very beginning of the episode, when she comes downstairs, she goes to make cereal in the kitchen. The radio is playing in the background, and if you have the subtitle, you can barely hear it. But if you have the subtitles on, this is I have it pulled up. What it says. Good morning, Westviewans. Thank you for tuning in to WNDA. Not a thing weighing heavily on your conscience. I hope your little ghost arrived home safe last night. It's always such a treat to see those creepy kiddos out and about once a year. So, and then he adds on to the end of it. Later on, we'll hear some tips on how to resist the temptation of all that leftover candy, or just eat it all. So it's the kids don't exist outside of when she needs them to, is what I'm getting at. And I think that goes for hers.
She wakes up in the same outfit as the day before. Just trying to forget it. What did you think about when the kids brought up Uncle Pietro? She said, don't trust that man.
It was almost like
not sure who he is herself.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was almost like she didn't know who he was, because she said she didn't say don't trust Pietro or don't trust your uncle. She said don't trust that man. She was distancing herself as far as she could from him. So either that was she realizes, oh, that's not really Pietro, that's something else, and I don't want to touch it, or
she learned last episode that he doesn't know anything, because he says it's not like your dead husband can die twice. He does die twice, once by her hand. So, and that's when she blasts him across. It comes across almost like that's an afterthought of a burst of rage, because I think that's a sudden realization of you can't be trusted because clearly you don't know.
I think also the fact that she's trying to, again, escape from this stuff, but she's the one controlling it. So when the kids, they keep confronting her with these morality questions at almost every episode, with the dog dying, with this different stuff, and she's You know, as a parent, do as I say, not as I do. But at a certain point, it's like she's now trying to balance what's actually happening with, you know, this magical perfect world doesn't just exist. She has to maintain it, and that's never more clear than now. So now that she's been confronted with these questions of, are you doing the right thing? I think she's having a harder time with it. And also, with Agatha again, I think this might have gone perfectly. She might have just maintained this perfect hex or whatever, if not for her messing it up. Now, why is she messing it up? What is she trying to do with it? Like, what is the goal of Agatha? And in the comics, it had to do with her own child.
Senior Scratchy?
And
Nicholas
what a
Scratch.
coincidence, the name of the dog that they're trying to get her to resurrect.
Sparky.
Sparky.
Sparky, but what's her bunny's name?
Senior Scratch.
Yeah, and so that makes me wonder, is like, what? There's still tons of stuff, as many answers as we just got.
Pietro represents
like-
the tipping point for Wanda. Before Pietro shows up, she's a little suspicious. You can tell she still has a modicum of control. She's able to get rid of Rambo. She's able to keep her grip on reality. But once Pietro shows up, which I think we all agree that's Agatha's doing, not Wanda's. Once she shows up, that's the tipping point that Wanda did not anticipate, and that is the outside element. I didn't conjure you. What are you doing here? Who are you really? And then from there, that's when things go downhill. That's when Wanda really starts to lose control, is when Pietro shows up. So Agatha introduces Pietro to push Wanda to losing control and losing, to have that stress build up. He is where the show, not WandaVision, but obviously her show, really starts to go off the rails.
And since we're talking about, well, I mean, we weren't, but it was brought up, Senior Scratch, who I think pretty much everybody thinks that it's her son, Nicholas Scratch, who pops up throughout the MCU and even the DC EU. But you ever notice the mailman delivery guy dude?
Presto.
Yeah, he has Presto on his
That's the
shirt,
name of the delivery company, apparently.
and he has a rabbit on his hat. So does Senior Scratch, is he able to go from animal form to human form? Because really, outside of a few other characters, he's the only one that's kind of, he's been in the background. He's made some comments here and there, but yeah, the whole Presto and rabbit on the hat type thing.
And why is he not played by Keanu Reeves? I mean, come on.
Chris, do you have an image of that same rabbit in the cage later on when Wanda's there at the house?
I do.
I could be wrong. I could be way off, but
I just passed over. But go on. Yeah.
You think it's a different rabbit?
The fur looked different. I thought that the rabbit okay. I was thinking that rabbit was all
in the
white.
Magic
That's
Show.
why. Yeah.
Well, that one's black and white because it's
right.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking in this image, and I think it was the white bedding that was around it that for some reason I was thinking the rabbit was a different color. I mean, we know in the comics, Nicholas Scratch, I mean, he's a sorcerer of sorts. He's often around at the same time Strange is. So it's possible. I mean, who knows? We don't know anything about that book. Ultimately, the book that we have, that we see in her basement. So
if only I'd learned how to read.
How awesome of a show title would it be? Scratch and Strange.
like Turner and Hooch. I mean,
right. I mean, you have Falcon and Winter Soldier. Why can't you have or Strange and Scratch?
Strange solves everything by pulling the rabbit out of a hat. I mean, what are we doing here?
I still vote for Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but
Yes.
show me your moves.
Falcon Punch.
It's hard to see, they don't do anything by accident, and I'm looking at the symbols on the front of the book, and I've got nothing. There's nothing that's catching my eye at reference there.
Actually,
Anybody else
if you
got
look
anything?
if you look really closely at the bottom, it says Klaatu Barada. There, I said the words.
I said the words.
Well, it kind of looks like two keys, one on top, one on bottom. I don't know if that means anything. Now, it doesn't look like the Darkhold from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I guess is not canon, but it could be Kevin's way of introducing it in a new version to keep us guessing, like, is that Darkhold or is it the whatever other book that you mentioned, Devin?
That's so not the Darkhold.
Or they do what they did with Thanos' gauntlet in the Thor movie, where it was the wrong gauntlet.
Yeah.
It was a left-handed gauntlet instead of a it was a right-handed gauntlet instead of a left-handed gauntlet in Thor's.
I love her. She's so awesome.
She nailed this. This was great.
I'm super excited for now to see what happens now that she's like unleashed, that she gets to go beyond the character that she's had to play. Like, I can't wait to see her now be like the next 2 episodes.
Can I get her song as my ringtone? I mean, seriously.
I can send you the MP3.
You can.
I can't play it now because.
Well, yeah. No. Let's not offend the YouTube guys. Facebook's mad enough at us already.
I going back to that book, it seems familiar to me, and not that I've seen it in a comic book or anything, but I honestly now I really want to go back and watch Doctor Strange, because there were so many books, so many different books within the library there, and so I'm looking at it going, God, was that in the library? Or
I will tell you that I've seen another theory relating to all of this, and it shows there's a screenshot from a Doctor Strange movie. I don't have it on me right now. I can maybe look it up, but it shows that wall of the chained in books, and like those were the really serious books.
Right.
And even one of those books that guy didn't steal it. The bad guy in that movie, he ripped pages out of it, but he didn't steal the whole book. But they showed that wall of books, and there was like one missing. And they're like, what if this is the book that was missing? Hence, Doctor Strange is going to get involved because Magical Tomb.
And there's Hermione talking about the restricted section.
She needs to get her priorities in order.
And did you notice all the books you mentioned the chains, they're all hexagon shaped.
I didn't, but
geez, now I got to go back and watch Doctor Strange.
You should go watch Doctor Strange.
I'll be ready for episode 8, and that way I'll be able to say, yeah, it was there. I saw it. I got a screen grab. It's right there.
Hey everyone, I need to step out for the night. I need to go take care of my kids. So it's thanks for having me on. I hate to run real quick, but I gotta go, and I'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for being here.
Toodles. Now, if you want to get super meta, did you notice that when Agatha lands, right, when she does that ultimate reveal, she lands on her left foot, and Monica, when she runs into the hex, starts on her left foot, and that is significant for absolutely no reason.
Unless you really want to look into it. If you really want to find a reason, there will be a reason.
We got this covered, I'm sure, or Screen Rant or someone will find a way to make it significant.
No, they'll just make up something entirely has nothing to do with anything. When you were talking about Palpatine and stuff like that, that was more like Screen Rants. They're just like, no, and here's how they'd cover it in all caps. Rumor, headline, Palpatine's in WandaVision.
A source
We got
told
this
us.
covered.
A source told a source told us, when we were horribly drunk one night and just pitching around theories, that was our source. It was ourselves.
It was some guy we ran into in the bar. We never saw him again, but it seemed right.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
I really liked when Vision got fed up with like the Wanda crap and was like, "Why am I doing this?
Why am I talking to you people?
Why am I doing a confessional interview right now?" And this like flies away.
Now, see, and it's interesting you do the confessional, but and I know it's come up like in the comments, and it's come up just with us too, that this was the Modern Family take, but I didn't see it as Modern Family. As far as the credits go, I thought Modern Family 2 initially, and then they rolled the credits, and I was like, it's The Office. It's not Modern Family. This is The Office.
That's what I was thinking.
The music was The Office, and actually the visuals of it was inspired more by a show called Happy Endings, which, if you've never seen it, it was a sitcom. It only had like a season, maybe two. But some of the people that worked on that worked on this show, and their entire beginning of the show had the same word over and over in different styles. And actually, speaking of the opening credits and the style that they did, very much The Office, very much though that same style of like, and even The Office and Modern Family both have that.
It's the music
style thing, and yes, it is the music. But the one of the things that it actually said, because they also had Wanda, right? It was focusing on just saying Wanda in a bunch of different ways. One of them actually was like spelled out in, I think, refrigerator magnets, and it said, "I know what you're doing, Wanda."
And
that's
that.
potentially
Wow,
Vision. That's potentially Vision there, and that's also the first time that he hasn't really been in the credits at all. The only time he's actually in the credits is possibly that time, if you take that for that, or at the very end when it actually like flashes on Vision, and it's like, oh, we're very Wanda-centric now, aren't we?
I picked up on that as soon as I saw the credits, the opening credits. I'm like, it's all about Wanda now for some reason. Wanda. But yeah, it is, and it opens up with, I think, with her talking to the camera. I think that's how it opens up, and so it's all about her at this point, and she's just losing it all over the place, and she keeps wanting that day to herself, that day off, which of course parents of two boys never get. But it's very interesting how it's all on her, and she just can't handle it. She just can't.
Let me see. Yeah.
What I thought was fun, well, it was funny to me, during Vision's little talking to the camera thing, the picture that you had brought up there earlier, was he's sitting there talking, and then all of a sudden he's like scratching his whatever is there for an ear. But I was just like, that's just so human. Why would you do that? It just cracked me up. I was like, that makes no sense why he would do that, but that's just me.
If this is, what was Wanda's whole purpose for doing this? She broke in and stole the body, which is why the Skrull, I'm going to still go there, wants him back. But what is her, is her purpose just to live in the Westview bubble forever and try to create this perfect life for herself?
Thank you.
Is that,
I think it's
what is Wanda's end game here?
Well, I think that's a great point to bring up, is that I've been saying all along, is like, if you want to know who the real villain is, find the catalyst for why this started. If you think it's just her grief, that's a possibility. And she even mentioned in this episode, when Monica's like, don't make yourself the villain, and she's like, what if I already am? So they're laying out that possibility, but I'm still thinking there's somebody else behind the scenes.
Are they going with the Batman trope, the live long enough to see yourself become the villain?
Well, she in the actual reality, she's the one who stole Vision's body. Okay, she busted in the facility and she got him out of there.
Well, yeah, she got him out of there.
Was she under influence at the time?
But here's the thing. She got him out of there, and she might have been, again, that's what I'm saying, that might have been like the catalyst of what drove her to do this. Someone might have told him, hey, Sword is out there trying to make Ultron, or use Vision to make Ultron. And then that sent her into a spiraling craziness. But again, who told her that?
I was going to say, what if it wasn't even her?
And they've had Vision's body for 5 years.
I mean, is it possible that Agatha did it? You know, she landed and she changed clothes real instantly. How hard would it have been for her just to take on the guise of Wanda? We know she's a witch of sorts, so she's got her same style powers. She just takes on the guise of Wanda, goes and steals Vision to basically set everybody off, to take the eyes off of her, more or less.
So you're saying that Agatha also set up Westview then?
I think under a higher purpose. You know, there's somebody else that's pulling Agatha's strings and basically told Agatha, okay, here's what we need to do. We need to make this happen this way.
But why, though? That's the big question. Are they after Vision? Are they after Wanda? Are they after the kids?
Oh, Debbie
which
knows.
Don't really exist. I mean, okay, all right. Debbie's done with Ryan Reynolds. She's going to talk to us now.
I can't remember where I seen this from, but there is a theory that possibly Wanda and Agatha did the whole hex thing. Agatha's purpose is to draw power from Wanda for the sole purpose of opening that, whatever the book is. And that's possibly to release
Mephisto, Nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I see. It's more like it's a power grab. They need Wanda's power, and the best way they know how to do it is it's almost like and I hate to compare it to this, but it was like the second Never-Ending Story movie where they kept trying to get. I know. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. But you know they were trying to get Bastion to make all of his wishes because that would like drain power from Fantasia or whatever. And so they kept telling him, hey, just make a wish. And this is kind of the same thing where it's like with Wanda, just use your magic. And then that's going to be the collective power that's going to open the book or
I do
turn Mephisto loose or whatever.
Agree with you on the point you were making. That's actually a trope that's been used before. Yeah, like if we can just get you to use more of the power, then you'll be opening the door for other things. Hence, like the hints of other things like the stork and the fly. Like if these gods or these otherworldly beings can just get you to open this nexus more, this hex. Oh, you expanded the hex large enough that I could finally get through. Thank you. And it's like, whoa, I didn't know I was doing that this entire time. I thought I was doing all this stuff for me. And it's like, well, you were, but also as a byproduct, ha 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 ha, I'm Mephisto, and now I'm in your world, you know.
And now
or whatever song he would sing when he got, that's what I would do. But.
And next thing you know, you summon Majin Buu, and well, that's it. That's it. Majin Buu's in our world now.
The gloved hand of Boba Fett climbing out of the Skull Rack. He's holding the reality gem, thus combining our world.
And who helps him out? Who clasps that gloved hand and helps him out? It's Keanu Reeves, of course.
Of course.
Because Palpatine's behind it all.
But in all seriousness, I do think we're heading slam dunk towards the multiverse of madness. I say that because it's on the schedule of movies that are coming out. But no kidding, I think like it's been teased that we'll have some sort of reveal as big as Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian season 2. So before we close it up, what do you guys think that reveal might be? Or like, what do you think that guest star or guest spot might be? Obviously Dave is going to say Keanu Reeves, but anyone else going to say anything else? No, Dave, go ahead. Tell us. What do you think?
No. That was
it. You were spot on. You got it.
I really think Mephisto, Keanu Reeves. I'm not okay. I don't think that's what's really going to happen, but I think it'd be pretty cool if it did. But I think that at the end we'll get a glimpse of Mephisto, just a glimpse. That's it. And of course, everybody will be going, "Oh my God, who's Mephisto? Oh my God!" And all these articles will come out about who Mephisto is, and yeah.
I think honestly, I'm with Dave. I think we'll get a glimpse of Yeah, I'm gonna say either Mephisto or Nightmare. I'm gonna throw one more log on that fire and say it'll be one of the two. I know there was a lot of rumors going around about the main villain in Multiverse of Madness being Nightmare. So to bring him in, and like he said, just as a glimpse, right at the end, and it's like, okay, well, this is going to lead into what you call it, the Multiverse of Madness. So I think I'd like to see the glimpse of the bad guy, be it Nightmare or Mephisto, but also, like I was saying too, with all of a sudden here's Reed Richards and he just pops on and says one line, and it's there's four of us ready to help or something like that. Just something to.
That's kind of a stretch, don't you?
I know it's a stretch. Ha ha ha! Reed Richards. Ha ha. Fun.
Speaking of Agatha controlling the hex, witches use hexes.
Witches use hexes.
They do.
I think that was one of the classes in Harry Potter was hexes and charms, if I'm not mistaken.
It's maddening though to think though, like, here's the thing. Wanda, as far as the MCU is concerned, comics aside, as far as the MCU is concerned, she's just an augmented being or whatever. No one ever considered her like the Scarlet Witch. That's what we all call her because we know the comics and everything like that. But they even had an episode specifically in the show where they asked, he's like, is there any funny name for her, any code name, anything like that? And he's like, no. And I'm sitting there like, oh, really? Not even once did they do any of that stuff? And apparently they went out of their way to say, no, none of that is here. So as far as anyone knows, when Agatha comes in and says, what, you thought you were the only magic user? Do you think Wanda even knew that what she was doing was magic or that she thought of it that way?
I don't think so, because they talked about, I remember in Ultron, they talked about telekinesis and using telekinetic abilities and that sort of thing.
She's fast,
so,
she's weird.
Yeah, so I think they talked about, she does the whole creepy hand wavy thing. Her magic power, obviously, her greatest one is that she can lose her accent at will, which is terrific. But I don't think she thinks of it as magic at all. It's an ability.
And that doesn't mean that it's not magic. It's just that the way that she thinks of it is
magic is science we don't understand yet.
Like she's never had a teacher per se. And that's why a lot of people have been saying things like Agatha, maybe not the bad guy. Maybe she's disrupting this hex when she says it's Agatha all along, blah, blah, blah. We don't know the reasons for what she's doing. We don't know why she's been doing what she's doing. We still don't know. I was excited about this at the beginning of the show. It's like, we still don't know what's really going on in the show. We still don't.
We still don't know what the damn smoke monster is. Just tell me what the smoke monster is. God.
Well, if we get 6 seasons into WandaVision and we still don't know, that'll be a different thing. But as far as we know, it's supposed to just be this one thing, which again, now maybe it's going to tie into other movies and they'll be playing jokes on us like that. 3 movies later, and we have no idea what the setup for WandaVision is. But I'm pretty sure, again, it's going to be the Multiverse of Madness. I think hopefully they've learned from those examples. Lost. Oh my gosh. Lost. That's the mystery of Christmas? No, it's a metaphor for a lack of payoff. Community. Great show. Anyway, that I think about wraps up what we've got for this episode. We're all obviously excited for what's going to happen next.
2 left. 2 episodes left.
And then after that,
Then we have the making of the week after that, and then Falcon and Winter Soldier kicks off.
Roll right into it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Captain and the Winter Soldier. I'm Captain. I'll appease you.
Captain Falcon. For so long, it was so hard for me to not. It's sad, even though, and now that I've said it so many times, I want to watch that. Not that I'm not looking forward to Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I just keep thinking of Captain Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm just like, that's a really good show. I'm just maybe in the Marvel What If they're gonna show that's gonna be an episode. We don't know how we knew. We don't know how we knew. We don't even have the rights to this. So Anyway, I'd like to thank my panelists for being here today. Debbie and David, you've been here a lot. Dave,
Woo!
you were great.
I will not be invited back on, I'm sure, and that's why I enjoyed my one time on here.
You don't get invited. You just decide. I'll be on the show tonight.
I descend from on high to mingle with the commoners.
Look out, everyone.
No,
I love that comment, by the way. That was a great comment.
Y'all do a terrific job. This was a lot of fun, and I think y'all are really doing just wonderful out here.
Oh, we got compliments from the boss.
Woo! Raise.
Yeah, you get 2 times what you make now. Anyway, that's it for us today. We look forward to you seeing you next every week, Monday, 9:30 Eastern time. We're calling it the MCU Mondays, Marvel Cinematic Universe Mondays. Like we said, they got something coming out every Friday from now until who knows when, and so we're going to be talking about it the Monday after. And if you want to get involved in any of our contests, in anything GNN related, Geek News Now, search for Geek News Now on Facebook, search for geeknewsnow.net just in your search bar. That'll take you to our website. That's the best way to get involved. And for any of the contests and anything like that, that's all in the details in the links that you'll see below in the description of this video. So don't forget to sign up, join in, tune in, and get in contact. You can be in the comments that we laugh about or talk about.